comes to data, I think, I'm a big advocate for data. My background is data, right, and client side and all that sort of stuff. But I think that there's no shortage of data. We have a lot, but we also have a lot of compliance and legislation that's restricting what we can and can't do with that data. And on top of that, sometimes, just sometimes, in this industry, we tend to overcomplicate it a little bit and start to try to create multiple currencies. And I think that what we really, really are yearning for is how do we get to a currency that we can all use comparatively in terms of results and impact, but also how we trade as well.
Well, speaking of that, and along those lines, in the media business, what is happening as far as the slowing economy? Is there anything that you're recommending to clients as far as what they do with their media investments?
It's really interesting that you asked that because, yes, we are looking like we're heading into recession. Obviously, there's been a lot of layoffs in the news as of late. But what I see happening, actually, we have a big portfolio of clients at Spark. We have over 80 clients that are everything from CPG to retail to banking to, it runs the gamut across QSR, everything. And whilst there are some supply chain issues impacting some of the businesses with which we work, what we are seeing is less of a slowdown than we initially anticipated. So some of the different companies are slowing down because they have issues in supply chain. But the reality is it's not slowing as fast as we thought it was. And I also think that sometimes we talk ourselves into recession as an industry. I think it's super important that brands maintain that emotional connection with their consumers, even throughout a recession, because brand equity takes a very long time and brand trust takes a very long time to build, but it doesn't take so long to erode if you stop that conversation.
Okay. Now, finally, this is a bit of a different topic. I wanted to ask you a bit about women in leadership roles in the industry, as far as what kinds of advice do you offer to other people who are coming into the industry or looking to get ahead or get into a leadership role?
Well, I'm really fortunate that I work in a management team at Spark Foundry with other women. So Sarah Kramer is our CEO and our COO is Kerry Hemrick. So we're a good female leadership team there within Spark Foundry. I think one of the key things is that we have to help each other and we have to encourage each other to have a seat at the table. I think it's really, really important that no matter who you are, you can have a great idea. So if you're invited to the meeting, you have a right to be there. And so take a seat at the table, ask questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question, I always say. So push yourself outside the comfort zone, take a seat at the table and ask questions, because if you're curious and you're asking questions, then no one can really judge you on that.
And finally, Lisa, just looking ahead to the next 6 months to a year, is there anything that's top of mind for you? Anything on your wish list, perhaps? Anything that's keeping you up at night?
Looking ahead, I think that there are a number of different areas. So like we've talked a little bit about currency and data. I think, getting consumers to understand, I think there's a lot of fear mongering in the market, and with upcoming elections and things happening, that could start to happen again. And the reality is that all of this is about relevancy for consumer experience. And so it's getting consumers used to these scary messages about, how your data is going to be used or collected and how it might impact you, versus understanding the payoff. So I think the onset of Netflix now launching an ad-supported model, and Disney Plus, all those ad-supported models that are coming out, that's going to help consumers to understand what the value exchange really is in terms of what's my data worth versus how much I'm prepared to pay for a subscription to content. So I think we're going to see an interesting dynamic play out in the coming 6 months as people look to consolidate what they have from a subscription service perspective, but also get a better understanding as a general consumer of media and content of what their value exchange really is.